Today I'm speaking with Jamie Sutherland, Vice President and General Manager for Sage Small Business, about Sage's recent Business Mind survey and helping small businesses better manage their cash flow. So Jamie, I understand that you regularly survey small businesses and that the Business Mind survey covered both the U.S. and Canada. What were the key trends compared to previous surveys? For example, were respondents more concerned about the economy, less concerned? Were revenues up or down? What were your key findings?
So just a little bit of clarification. The Business Mind survey was addressed to the U.S. population of small businesses. And we did a survey back in October of 2009 in partnership with Angus Reid that addressed the concerns of Canadian small businesses. But I can speak to the general census among small businesses that came out of the Business Mind surveys, because what we heard in the U.S. is actually similar to what we're hearing from small businesses in Canada. And it was a resounding, there was some increased confidence around the economy at the time of the survey, which was in March. And that is up from a previous survey we had done in May 2009. But it wasn't a vast increase in confidence. What we saw that was more small businesses expected the economy to improve in a shorter period of time. And so that bodes well from an optimistic view. The other things that we found in the Business Mind survey were around the Obama administration's proposals in order to help stir improvements in the small business market. And the small businesses that we talked to were kind of lukewarm on some of the initiatives. But I'd have to say that the one that came out on top was the CapEx reductions that they provide to small businesses looking to make investments to grow their business.
Mm-hmm. But our audience is specifically Canadians. That really wouldn't apply up here in Canada. So I noticed one thing from the March survey, that 60% of respondents were monitoring their finances more closely, and then the next two top activities in sort of to respond to some of the issues at the time were looking for process efficiencies in the business and reducing capital expenditures. So, it seems like cutting costs were a key issue for people, and I noticed then the top activities in that area were staffing freezes and then reductions in staff. So I'd like you to comment on cash flow management, which clearly seems to have been an important issue, and the strategies that most respondents chose to deal with that.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it actually is a key finding in both of the surveys we conducted. Cash flow is king to the business, and managing cash flow came up as the number one concern facing small businesses. And there are many components to managing cash flow. And so what we heard was, inventory management's important, manage your accounts payable and delaying payment to the last possible moment, as well as getting paid faster. And that was the one that came out on top through the survey we did. And that's why we developed a product called Payment Boss, which allows small businesses to get paid through their mobile 3G-enabled device while they're in market with a customer. So where in previous situations you typically use a paper invoice to get paid faster, the tool that we've developed allows you to get an immediate payment processing a credit card on your mobile phone.
Okay, so walk me through that. Let's say I'm a designer and I'm on site and I'm visiting a client and I want to get paid. How does this work?
That's an excellent example. And so the product is tailored towards contractors like designers or roofers, carpenters, plumbers, those types of things, as well as any organization that has a field service team. And so I guess the best way to describe it is through an example. So you're on site and you complete some design work. The normal process using a paper approach would be to document that transaction on paper, take in credit card information on paper, and then you'd bring that back to wherever your office is to input into your accounting software or whatever system you use, which increases the problems around data entry. So on the flip side, if you use Payment Boss, you can use your mobile phone, so any Android, iPad, iPhone, or BlackBerry or Palm, as long as it's 3G enabled, to accept a credit card payment while you're with that customer. And what that does is ensure a confirmed and immediate payment, and at the end of the day, that is cash flow, and that's cash in the bank, which is what we know small businesses are most concerned about.
Okay, and as I'm sure you've been asked before, security is obviously a really big concern with any kind of credit card transaction, especially over new technology like the mobile phone platforms. So can you speak to that?
Yes, so we follow industry standard encryption, and we actually don't store credit card information. We're a web-based application, and so the information is encrypted and sent through our servers, and we never store credit card information. The second piece I'd mention is really around the fact that, sorry, my earpiece has just come out. It's actually a web-based application, so you don't have to download any software. And you can understand that if you have a downloaded application on your mobile device, then if you lose that mobile device, you could potentially open that up to fraud or malicious behavior.
And I presume, too, that I'm, as the customer, using my phone?
The customer doesn't need to use a mobile phone. This is the small businesses that would have a mobile phone. So if they're on site with a customer, the customer just needs to provide their credit card information. And then the small business would enter that into the web application called Payment Boss.
Okay. And there's no concern about the contractor putting some sort of a screening process, like a key logging process on that could get PIN numbers and confidential data?
That's not something we've seen to date, but really the way that we structured our application is a lot better than a paper invoice, whereas, capturing a credit card number on a piece of paper is not the way you go. So this actually, you enter the information directly into an application, and then it's never seen again.
Right. Okay, so something I'm curious about are the difficulties small businesses seem to have had maintaining their cash flow an indication of the economic times, in your opinion, or something deeper?
So I think it's the fact that the economy, I think the economy has impacted small businesses, but I do think that managing your cash flow is something that needs to be the front and center of any business at any point in time in the economic cycle. I think what has happened, it has highlighted a lot more within the small businesses in terms of their finances. So we know from the survey that over 60% told us that they were looking more closely at their finances. And I think that happens in a downturn because you really need to get a good handle on your expense side of the equation. And knowing that, for the most part, new business isn't coming in the door, you have to look at the other side of the equation. But in terms of managing cash flow, helping customers get paid faster also helps with that.
Absolutely. So if they want to learn more about your product, where do they go?
They can go to paymentboss.com to learn more about how to get paid faster.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.